What's going on, Laker fans? Let some people kind of get on the channel here for a quick second. Hope you guys are having a good Friday night. Probably not, because the Lakers can't win a game if their life depended on it. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show, Laker fans. Post-game show after the post-game show. Let's get that down a little. Another L. Another night. Another L. I will say this, Laker fans. I will say this, and I appreciate you guys being a part of the show. This is not fun. Do you remember, Laker fans, back in the day where we used to actually talk about Lakers winning basketball games? Do you remember when we used to talk about Lakers actually competing? Do you remember when every game kind of mattered, trying to figure out where you're going to be? You guys remember that? Do you remember those days? I was thinking about that earlier today. I was thinking in my head, I'm like, these games used to actually really be competitive. We used to have a kind of, picturing in your mind going into a season that it was going to be a fun season. It was going to be a competitive season. But and let me say this. It's not like they're getting blown out in every game, because that has not been the case. But it's just not as fun anymore. This team just, the roster that's been put together, how they're performing, already some injuries. That's a lot, Laker fans. That's a lot to take in. All right, post-game show after the post-game show. 111-102, the final score. Lakers lose by 9. In it again, they were never a threat to win the game, but they were in the game. They were always close enough to where it's a 6-point. Minnesota's up 6, or they're up 8, or they cut it down to 5, or whatever the case is. So the Lakers were, I thought, definitely in the game, but never a threat to actually win the game. So, by the way, if I start veering off towards this direction, so I'm in our studio right now. I got a TV up here, which I don't understand why it's way up here. I think someone explained this one to me. It's way up there. What am I doing here? And then another one over here. So, just so you guys know, I will be, keeping an eye out on the World Series game while this is going on. Might as well. TV's way up here. My neck. I got what's going on. How am I gonna watch the game like that? I don't understand the TV location. Okay, let's take some of your guys's comments here real quick. I have not had a chance to look yet at any of the comments, so let me go back a little bit. Usually when I get on, everybody starts commenting. Let me read a couple of these, and then I'll start going into some of the stuff. Could we be the worst three-point shooting team in the history of the NBA? Yes, but the Lakers did not lose this game today because of three-point shooting, which I know is a little bit of a surprise. Lakers lost this game today. Too many turnovers, Laker fans. Just ugly. Do you know they had 22 turnovers and 20 assists? Heard Austin Reeves talking about it. You cannot have a game where you have more turnovers than assists. So that can't happen. Obviously, that can't happen. Where they are now, shooting percentage from three-point line, their percentage is going to go up, because today they actually shot, they shoot 31% today. They were at 22% coming into the game, so that's going to go up. But they didn't lose the games. They didn't lose today's game because of three-point shooting. They 100% lost the game today because too many turnovers, sloppy basketball. And again, it wasn't an awful played game, but you're not going to beat a playoff team committing that many turnovers. Sacramento would beat us in a 7-game series. Is that what we're matching up against now? Let me see. It's us, Orlando, and Sacramento that are still unbeaten? Is that what's going on here? Or did Orlando get their first win? Nope, Orlando got a win. Never mind. It's just us and Sacramento who still are winless in the NBA. Talk to me, Slee. What are we going to do? Okay, Laker fans. Okay, let me just say this real quick, because there's a couple things I want to do on this game specifically, because I want to talk about Russ coming off the bench. But what should the Lakers do? Let me give you the options. Here are the options for the Lakers, okay? You could tank, like somebody's saying here, and go try to get a really high draft pick. Here's the only problem. You don't have your draft pick. The Pelicans do. The Pelicans have a pick swap, right? A pick swap, which means, let's say the Lakers had one of the worst records in the NBA, and their pick is at number 3. Or let's just, for conveniency, because everybody wants Victor Wembanyama, let's just say the Lakers have the number 1 pick in the draft. Cool. That goes to New Orleans, and then we're going to get New Orleans pick. Okay? So tanking does not help the Lakers any bit. It's not like back in the days when, they had, what was it, D'Angelo Russell at number 2, Brandon Ingram at number 2, Lonzo at number 2. It's not like those days, so you're not going to keep your pick. So tanking, you can put that as not really an option. The other question you got to ask yourself is, all right, should the Lakers then go make a trade? I'm not encouraging the Lakers to do this, but I'm just going to give you an idea because I saw these tweets earlier today about the Pacer game. Let's say the Lakers wanted to go trade today. They wanted to go trade for Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. Let's say they wanted to go do that. So it's probably going to cost them those 2 draft picks. Buddy Hield today had 25 points. He had 5 threes. Miles Turner today had 27 points and 10 rebounds and hit 3 threes. Let's say you want to go get those 2 guys. So this is why I'm mentioning it, Laker fans. Let's say you want to go get those 2 players and you want to put them on the Lakers. Cool. You traded for them. Do you think that team is good enough to compete for a championship? Because the front office is basically saying, at least it sounds like to me, none of the trades that were talked about before did they feel was good enough to make them compete with the Golden State Warriors, the Phoenix Suns, the Denver Nuggets, the Clippers, whoever you want to put in that upper echelon of the Western Conference. So that's the Lakers' dilemma. I don't think they feel that there's a trade out there that puts them in the hunt to go win a championship. And they're not going to trade, at least according to Pelinka on Media Day, they're not going to go make a trade like that unless they're in the hunt to win an NBA championship, which means they may not make a trade. They may stay with this team and say, all right, we'll take our chances next year, which I will say this, it's not an awful strategy. That what was awful was you traded for a player that didn't fit and it hand-tied you for 2 years. That would be obviously the awful portion of it. All right, this team in the playoffs could be dangerous. I'm assuming you're talking about Miles Turner, Buddy Hield. That's not a bad team. It's not a bad team. It comes back to this. Is that enough? I mean, Anthony Davis just missed his first game of the season. We're 5 games in. 5 games in, AD's already missing a game. And it's not like a guaranteed or lock that he's not going to miss any more games or some upcoming games with that lower back tightness that he has. So that's an interesting spot for the Lakers to be at right out the gate. Okay. Play CD on bench or not winning anything. Bond is the best player, Lakers GM of all time. Some people are just commenting just to comment. Let's see what we got here. AD said he wanted to play 82 games. He did. I was there. Media day. He ain't playing 82 games, I'll tell you that. I get it. That was his goal, but, that's just... I mean, listen. We have heard so many times... hey, if AD's healthy, if Bron's healthy, I mean, if Anthony Davis can just stay healthy. Well, I don't know why we keep saying that, because it's not something that I think any of us are confident in that he's going to stay healthy. Okay. They had Russ coming off the bench. I think that was one of the bright spots I took out of the game. I liked Russ coming off the bench. I really did. I liked Russ. I thought Russ, at least for one game, when he came in, he got to just kind of be more himself. Now, how's that going to work? I'm not sure. How's it going to work on a consistent basis? I heard him post-game basically just say, hey, whatever the team needs me to be. But it almost sounded refreshing that Russ felt like, okay, maybe there is a role for me on this team. Maybe there is a role for him on this team. But we won't know until AD comes back and how effective it is until they actually start winning some games. What's the Lakers' record 20 games in? tell you right now. So look what they got. This homestand coming up. They got 4 games. 4 games on this homestand. Okay? Denver, New Orleans, 2 playoff teams. Utah, Cleveland, another playoff team. Cleveland just went to Boston today and won. So can you win one of these? Can you go 2-2 at home? If you go 2-2 at home, just so you have kind of an understanding what that means you're 2-7 to start the season. Then you're at Utah. You know, you'd hope to beat Utah. Utah just out of nowhere is 4-2. So that's that came out of nowhere. So we'll see if Utah keeps winning or not. 20 games in, I mean, at the pace that they're going right now, are they 7-13? Are they 6-14? Are they 5-15? I mean, think about what have they done so far? I mean, they got to get this first win, but what have they done so far to make you feel like they're heading in the right direction, or they're doing, obviously they're doing some big stuff. All right, what do we got here, Laker fans? Lakers are the laughing stock in sports. I heard the crowd chanting on Spectrum, 0-5. 0-5. That's what they were doing in Minnesota. Oh, every fan out there that's not a Laker fan, they love seeing the Lakers bad. Dominique, I got you, bro. I'll throw in a fist pump. I know we haven't won a game yet, but what am I going to do here? 0-5. I do every post-game show. I do every pre-game show. Can we get a win? Can they give us something? Can they give us something for the love of? So, anyways, I think for me, paying attention, wow, Philly just went deep. 6-5 Philadelphia. Damn. In the 10th inning, too. That's crazy. Okay, so I think for the most part, you start looking at that schedule, it's daunting. It almost gives you a headache to kind of think of that schedule down the road because of how bad the start is and how there's still good teams on there that they're going to have to face. This homestand, they could go 1-3 and it wouldn't be a surprise or a shock. Well, if they went 1-3, I don't think they will. I actually think they'll probably go 2-2. But if they went 1-3, you're looking at a 1-8 start. What are they, 0-5 now? Yeah, you'd be looking at a 1-8 start. I don't think you recover. I don't think you recover in the Western Conference starting off like that. So it is not, definitely not, let's see what we got here. Slow down there, buddy. Slow down there. Yeah, share with the comments here. Share a little. Yeah, it's not ideal in literally in any way that you look at it. None of this is ideal for the Lakers, and if AD starting to get injured now, I don't know what the hell they're going to depend on. And at some point, Bron, 20, 25 games in, the dude's in his 20th season. What are you expecting from him? So, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, you got some questions? Throw me some questions right now, and then I'm going to wrap it up, and I'm going to go enjoy my weekend and try not to think of Lakers basketball until Sunday night. So let's see some of the questions you guys got. Right, what do we do if Lakers really start 1-8? That's the one thing I can't figure out about. I mean, if you told me what my hunch is they would trade. They would make a trade. But I don't know if that trade's going to really make that much of a difference. I mean, maybe there's something else going on, and we just, we don't know if how much pressure is going to be on the team. You guys all saw that Instagram post from Bron yesterday talking about, being underappreciated or whatever it was. So I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure how Rob kind of handles this. If he thinks, well, the team is not good enough to even compete this year, why the hell am I going to trade my 2 draft picks for nothing? Because, listen, one thing they could do is they could wait till the summer, wait for Russ's contract to expire, keep those 2 picks. Now you got, $40 million in cap space, plus the 2 picks, the 2027, 2029, plus your 2023 pick. I mean, Lakers are really just swinging for the fences. That's really what they're doing. So what do we do? How do we get our first win? Stop committing 22 turnovers in a game. I think that would be a good start. Can't have 22 turnovers in a game. So there's a good start there. Yeah, a lot of people not happy. A lot of people not happy. All right, let me read off one more here. What would you rather keep the pick? I think it all just depends on where you are, and if Woj keeps saying that the Lakers are not going to have, they're not going to, no one's going to really make any trades till after Thanksgiving. Then I don't know. You kind of put yourself in a position where, okay, well, if they're not going to make a trade till after Thanksgiving, you're already 20 games in. If the season's already shot, if you're 5-15, why are you going to get rid of those assets for this year? Unless you're getting rid of those assets thinking that you got a 2-year run, there's good enough players that you can compete this year, and that's the team that you also want to roll with next season as well. I was looking at the free agency class this upcoming year. Not very good. Yeah, it didn't look very good. I think Kyrie's on there. Just no players on there that you think Lakers. Chris Middleton's on there, but why would he come to Lakers? The guy, I would assume, it just goes back to Milwaukee, where he's won an NBA championship and is treated like a king there. So, okay, Lake fans, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. We're done. You guys go enjoy your Friday night. I'll try to do the same as well. Sunday, we'll be back. Lakers, Denver Nuggets, post-game show after the post-game show. Thank you for being a part of the show. Have a good rest of your night. Thank you, Lake fans.